Welcome back to the Raptors Wrap-Up podcast. I'm your host, Arvind Lingam. Let's get the show on the road. The Raptors, man, what a game. What a game. What a game. The Raptors put up a fight, but could not crack the double-digit barrier near the end of the fourth quarter, and they just could not muster enough consecutive possessions and stops, and they struggled to defend the Washington Wizards, especially John Wall and Bradley Beal. And the Raptors lost this one 122-103, a 19-point loss. The Raptors came out flat in Game 3 and just couldn't put together enough defensive stops in this one. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about 5 things: the Raptors' performance, the Wizards' performance. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about 4 things: the performance of both All-Stars, the Raptors' overall performance, the Wizards' overall performance, and the things that have to change for Game 4 on Sunday. Now look, there are multiple things that you can look at, but first, let's move on to the battle between the All-Stars. First off, just looking at the numbers straight up, you could tell that both DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry were completely outplayed. John Wall and Bradley Beal came out and showed out. 28 points apiece to both of them, and the Raptors combined to score 42 points in this one. 23 from DeMar, 19 from Lowry, and this was a game where the Raptors really could have used their offense. DeMar DeRozan, 23 points, good shooting, 10 of 22, but turnovers from both All-Stars really killed the Raptors' momentum and their offense, because it gave Washington tons of opportunities to jump out on fast breaks, and they were just able to score on easy possessions, and the Raptors defense could not get set. Lowry actually had 5 turnovers and DeMar actually had 3 turnovers, so both combined for 8 turnovers, which isn't going to help, especially in a playoff game where possessions are so valuable. Lowry shot great percentages, 5 of 8 from 3, and he was efficient on the night, but DeMar DeRozan was efficient as well, but the turnovers just killed the Raptors. Bradley Beal and John Wall, on the other hand, were dominant. Bradley Beal came out in the first quarter and really wanted to get things going. Scored double digits in the first quarter. John Wall was pushing the pace, getting tons of people open shots, and both guys were dominant throughout the game. It wasn't like Bradley Beal had his quarter, then John Wall had their quarter. Both guys were playing at a high level throughout the entire game, and Scott Brooks knew that this was a game that they were desperate to win, so he played them extra minutes. Both of them approximately 40 minutes or close to. Bradley Beal and John Wall came in early in that fourth quarter to put this game away, as the Raptors could not come through and win this one. Now moving on to the Raptors' overall performance. Man, the bench, no show once again. Even CJ Miles and DeLon Wright couldn't get you anything. So pretty much the bench was completely useless in this game. No Van Vliet on this one. He will probably be available for Sunday's game, but that's awfully hopeful. And the Raptors definitely could have used Van Vliet in this game. The bench could not create anything offensively. Norman Powell came in, bricked a 3 hard, then ends up hitting a 3. That was confidence in his jumper, but then he got stripped by Jan Maimi. So overall, just not a great effort by the bench. Siakam and Pirtle still struggling, can't find their offense. They look like true rookies out there. They got afraid of the moment. Both guys aren't playing how they used to in the regular season, as both guys were pretty much dominated once again by both Mike Scott and Gortat and Jan Miimi. So if these two aren't giving you anything, they have to get minutes. But if you're not producing like this, they should be on a shorter leash and play less minutes. Now I also want to talk about the other starters that played in this game. OG Anunoby played amazing in this game. Man, the rookie was balling. Great cuts, hitting the three, great defense. Even got into an altercation with Morris. Wasn't backing down from the pressure and the physicality. So OG was playing strong and passionate out there with some energy, which the Raptors needed. Because JV, man, he cannot defend the pick and roll at all. And John Wall went pick and roll with Gortat 3 straight possessions, I believe, where he just kept going under the pick, where Lowry kept getting hit by the pick, and JV kept staying back, trying to guard the rim, afraid of John Wall's drive. But at this point, you need to stop. And John Wall just kept pulling up for jumpers and jumpers and jumpers, and he was hitting that mid-range all game long. And 3 straight possessions, it was just bucket after bucket after bucket. It's just demoralizing at this point. So Casey yanked him, put him Bebe, not much better. Then they start sagging off of Bebe because he can't create, can't shoot, can't really do anything on offense other than pass. And he either has to be right at the rim or he's not going to shoot the ball. And they just doubled the ball handler. So DeMar DeRozan pick with Bebe will get doubled. Lowry pick with Bebe will get doubled. So having Bebe for defensive purposes was okay, but offensively he's not going to show. Then we have Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka didn't play well. Only 3 points in this game. Only took 4 shots. Did not record a block in this game. Either did JV. So you could tell the interior defense wasn't what it was in Game 2 and Game 1. And the Raptors definitely need to bring that defensive intensity on Sunday, or else this series will be tied going back to Toronto, which we don't want. We need to steal at least one of these games. And now after losing the Game 3, we definitely have to win Game 4 and put the pressure on the Wizards. Now let's talk about the Washington Wizards performance. These guys came out with the game plan and executed. They got Bradley Beal and John Wall going. Mike Scott was excellent as usual. Kelly Oubre Jr. provided some great defense, athletic plays, and was driving to the rim and scoring. He had double digits off the bench, so did Mike Scott, both with 12. And then Gortat came alive in this game. 16 points and 5 rebounds. Was a beneficiary of the John Wall penetration on the pick and rolls, and JV just couldn't keep track of where he was on the court. Just kept scoring. And the Raptors were just getting beat up. The physicality that the Washington Wizards came out with pretty much destroyed the Raptors' offensive rhythm, and the team that's more physical usually wins the series in the playoffs, and the Raptors were the victims in this one as they got bullied in this game. The Washington Wizards bench had 35 points and the Toronto Raptors bench had 32 points. So the benches were pretty much even, but the Raptors did play 6 players off the bench combining for 35 points, 32 points actually. But the Raptors bench did play more minutes. So it's kind of strange that they would provide only 32 points. And the Wizards bench, only Mike Scott and Kelly Oubre Jr. pretty much brought in the offense. And the other guys just chipped in a couple points here and there. So otherwise the starters pretty much dominated for the Raptors. Now the things the Raptors need to work on. Taking care of the ball. This was the main problem in this entire game. Turnovers. The Raptors had 18 turnovers in this game compared to Washington's 11 turnovers. It's not only that the Raptors had turnovers. Turnovers are a part of the game, but to have this many turnovers on the road is gonna make it much harder to win. Plus, the Raptors do not turn the ball over out of bounds. It's live ball turnovers, which leads to fast break opportunities. You know what the Washington Wizards also capitalized against the Raptors on? Fast break points. the Washington Wizards had 21 fast break points compared to the Raptors' 10 fast break points. So losing the fast break points, losing the turnover battle, not to mention the rebound battle, the Raptors lost 39-34. Raptors did not really win any categories in this one. Pretty much even in regards to every other category, but the Raptors lost tons of possessions due to unforced turnovers and just careless basketball. The Raptors definitely need to improve their ball possession and make the easy and simple pass and not try forcing any passes. Larry DeRozan, 8 of the 19 turnovers. Definitely can't have that. The starters, all 5 of them turned the ball over in this game, and it was not a great night to be a Raptors fan, to be honest. Also, the bench definitely needs to improve, and having Van Vliet in the bench lineup could definitely help this team. His presence on the court provides this calmness and leadership that the Raptors bench definitely needs. They haven't been the same ever since leaving from home, and without Van Vliet, this team's chemistry and mobility is just not there. DeLon Wright and CJ Miles played great in the first 2 games, but the rest of the guys need to pick up the slack. They can't play well every game at this point. So Raptors definitely need the bench to step up. The Raptors also need to match the physicality. Dwayne Casey in the postgame was talking about how Gortat was setting these physical moving screens to get Bradley Beal, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Otto Porter and John Wall all open shots. And he's saying if the refs aren't calling these physical moving screens, then we're just going to have to do it right back at these guys. Because you know what? We're not a team that's going to back down. So you know what we got to do? We have to match the physicality or exceed it. Because the Raptors definitely can't be the team that gets beat up. And if the refs aren't calling fouls or moving screens, we have to do the same thing right back at them, fight fire with fire. Because if the referees aren't going to call the physical battle and physical fouls, we have to give it right back. And wait until the ref calls the whistle or keep battling. Because a couple plays in this game, DeMar DeRozan is getting hacked by Kelly Oubre Jr. One was blatant and there's no call. And it seems like the referees are going to swallow the whistle in these playoffs. So we're going to have to fight through a couple calls. And we have to be the aggressors. And this comes from the starting lineup. They have to set the pace. They have to set the mood. They have to set the tone for this game. A hard foul here and there will do a lot. Just telling these guys you won't get anything easy. Knock John Wall to the ground, but make the basketball play. Don't get a flagrant out of it. Knock him down to the ground. Tell them, make them feel that you're there, guarding the rim. And nothing easy is going to come in this game. The Raptors did not win any of the quarters in Game 3 and would definitely need to step up their game in Game 4, or else this team's going to go back tied and the pressure will be on us to defend home court once again. That's it for tonight's podcast. And that's a wrap for today's podcast. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And check out my website right here for up-to-date articles on the Raptors post-game. Peace.